Sit thee down, beautiful people, and welcome to Men in Sheds, episode 15.
1-5.
We are, pun intended, motoring along, aren't we?
Very good.
We hope you enjoyed us being on video, by the way, if you've been watching us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed that.
That's it. Podcast and video podcast. It's like the
Yeah.
future. We do it all.
Wouldn't hurt for a like. Wouldn't hurt for a little thumbs up, would it,
For
really?
subscribe.
Just give us one of them, that'd be alright, wouldn't
Like
it?
and subscribe.
Oh, crikey. Do the shameful
Yeah.
dance.
Get it over and done with right now.
Dance for me.
Dance for me.
We're calling this segment Backfired. Because it's like stupid car stories, but
Yeah.
there's a lot more other stuff besides stupid car stories for us. So
stupid cars. That's
we're going to do
one-dimensional.
a few sort of stories as we come to you from Staffordshire on Staffordshire Day.
Staffordshire Day. You told me. I didn't even
Staffordshire Day.
realise what you told me about. I mean, every day's Staffordshire Day as far as we're concerned.
Obviously.
But you know, there's an actual one.
A legacy of a whole one year behind it.
Yeah, but what did?
But why not?
What did Lexus say about tradition? I don't know. Look it up.
Well, the
That
great
was good, wasn't it?
Lexus.
That was
The
good.
great Lexus.
They said something about you have to about starting a tradition. I mean, you got to start a tradition somewhere, haven't you? So that's your legacy.
Yeah,
In 20 years, they'll have 21 years of legacy for Staffordshire Day.
exactly.
Fair play to them.
If the planet lives that long.
This is true. Yeah.
Okay then, so we're doing a kind of silly car stories, stupid car stories, whatever, kind of scary stories, backfired either way.
Backfired.
Gonna open with one of mine.
Do it.
And that was like when I got my first car, my Mini. A little Mini. And for those of you who've never driven a Mini, maybe you're young or whatever, Minis are they're about 600 kilograms, aren't they?
Yeah, they are
A
not.
Fiat
heavy.
500 comes in at like 700 or 800.
Yeah.
Like they are more like 900 actually for a Fiat 500.
Yeah, the new ones mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Minis are really small. Throw them around. They're amazingly really go-karty, and you get a little bit addicted to that.
That should feel like buzzword bingo. That should go karty. But you're right.
I know.
They are.
It's said a
They
lot.
are though. They are.
And I was at the time. I got my car and I got my first job at college, and I'm going back and forth doing my commute. And I don't know why, but it's a strange bit of foreshadowing. And I'd driven to work that day, and I was like, I'm going to go home, I'm going to have a bit of fun. And I'm going to take a bit of a different route.
Yeah.
And you know the road that goes from Draycott to Cheadle?
Yeah.
That's quite a fun little road. It's quite open.
Yeah.
You can kind of
Get
along it. And if
some
you're
speed
in a
on.
little Mini, kind of
And it's bouncing
up
and
the
it's uphill and that's it. You
man.
get a sense of really thrashing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just got in my head like this kind of dream of getting to where the Draycott Arms pub is and then just getting into second gear and bombing around that corner as hard as I can. It was like
Excited
summer.
and just like I'm having it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Summer. And
Love it.
I'm driving home that day, and like I said, it was a weird bit of foreshadowing this. And me ties fluttering away out the window. And I'm going, yeah, I'm an adult now. I'm an adult, and this is pretty
do this.
irresponsible.
Yeah.
Don't drive like this at home, obviously. So I come down, and I've got third gear, into second.
Nice impression of a mini gearbox there.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And I just throw the car, because that's full lock on me.
Yes, like that.
Throw the car in like a maniac.
Like a fool.
Which you should do, like an absolute fool. And as I'm mid-apexing into this side road,
the Mini.
come on, I see a sign. And that sign says, recently resurfaced road. And in all my driving time, I think it is the scariest moment, because whenever I replay it in my head, it is completely in slow motion.
Yeah.
Completely. And it's that whole thing of being a passenger with a steering wheel in your hand.
Yeah.
And I came round and the Mini went completely sideways, drifted out. I could see an escort van coming the other way. Obviously,
at you.
not expecting this
not
pleb in a Mini to be doing this kind of nonsense. And this different person leapt out of my body,
Wow.
grabbed the wheel opposite lock, so like pumping the throttle, and managed to basically correct it.
It's like Ari Vatanen just appeared.
It was absolutely
Ari the Angel.
Hankinen in a Mini. It was a Monte Carlo rally, and I somehow managed to recover through no talent of my own.
Because the thing is, you've not got wheelbase on your side for a drift, have you? Really, in a Mini? I mean, in fact, it's front wheel drive anyway. They're always a bit aggressive drifts in a front wheel drive anyway, aren't they? Or oversteer movements.
If a Mini set up right, it will oversteer under power.
Oh,
yeah, it's a really weird thing about them. They're so short wheelbase
that you can do it.
You can actually even under power.
Wow!
Like when you watch like the Monte Carlo Mini Coopers.
Yeah,
they just full power out and they just drift. Like, well, they just don't power. I guess they drift because they don't power slide.
Yeah,
they effectively drift. And that's what you got to watch out for. Wow. But if you let off the accelerator, obviously, snap oversteer, spin around, dive, burn in a hedge,
hit a Ford Escort. Yeah. So you were like pumping away and got out of it.
I still
unscathed.
Can't believe it. And it taught me a big lesson.
Scandinavians were looking down on you that day.
They were. Yeah, they were. Thanks, Scandinavians.
Thanks, Scandi people.
Thanks, Scandi gods.
Thanks, Scandi flicks. Anyway, I've got one. It's not quite as stylish as that, really. We might even have, if you are watching via the YouTubes, we might be able to put some sort of footage. Because look, kids, listen, kids. Now you got all your GoPros and all this.
Yeah.
That's not the birth of trying to video stupid stuff you're doing. As soon as phones were able to video things, even at like 10 frames a second and all squelchy, we were doing it because it's just the way. So the Spitfire, when I had my Spitfire first car again, that was ace because it had a cigarette ashtray in the top of the dash, which just wedged your phone perfectly in it, so you got like a bonnet cam. So I thought, I'll go for a spirited drive, you know, I'm an adult, I'll go for a spirited drive through some lanes.
Got a license to
drive.
license,
exactly, a license to drive like a fool.
The government has issued you with it.
Exactly.
You paid your tax.
Paid my dues, I'm off.
Yeah.
So there I am doing my spirited drive. Now, I will preface this by saying, I'm glad what I'm about to tell you happened when it happened. Otherwise, I might not even be here now, and that is sounds a bit overdramatic.
Wow!
But it is that big a deal.
Oh my god!
So I'm driving my Spitfire. I can't remember. This might have been quite a way through my ownership, so it might have had little side drafts Webers on there or Delorto at this point, giving it the beans. And as I came up to this junction after having done some Beanio driving, slowing down. And my front left suspension failed and dragged me towards this there's just this wall there, and I'm just like, no. Luckily, there's a lot of friction when your suspension fails and your wheel wedges up into your wheel well. And I stopped in time, but it was bloody scary, I tell you that. And it is on camera. You can't really see much other than this kind of like drop and then. It's quite scary.
That must be absolutely. What went?
So it's trunnions, front trunnions, and they are notorious because it's actually double wishbone at the front. It's a very odd setup on a Spitfire.
It's got like the best front suspension setup and the worst rear suspension setup in the world.
Yeah. So it's double wishbones at the front and then a single transverse spring at the back. Very odd. But the trunnions, you've got to grease your trunnions, and if you don't, although I had been, so I mean, if you don't, it's pivoting on this trunnion and they just snap. And then basically the bottom wishbone, isn't it, and the joint just falls away. Yeah. It's particularly bad on a Spitfire because the Spitfire's got a clamshell bonnet. So what happens is your wheel departs from the bottom wishbone, shoves itself up into the wheel arch, which is also your bonnet. So then you can't open the bonnet to do anything because it's wedged the bonnet shut on its catches, and you can't. So that was a fairly precarious rescue. Luckily, I got rescue coverage at that point, and yeah, it was kind of it's one of those old trolley jacks where you put a trolley jack under the offending wheel that no longer works as a wheel, and then kind of wiggle it onto the back of the truck, pulling the jack, and it was not pretty. But yeah, bloody scary. I had it happen twice actually, but the other time was at uni, and that was more embarrassing than anything else because they tend to go when you're braking or like at lower speeds when you're manoeuvring, so hence why it failed at that point.
You know when they tend to go? They tend to go when you're having fun, or if you're in front of people.
Yeah,
preferably the two things are happening.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so this one was when I was having fun. Second one was at the roundabout at my uni, right at the bottom, the most popular roundabout, and just turned and
the most popular roundabout
of the whole university.
Student times
used to sit on that roundabout. They did, drinking it in.
Mad lads.
And unwheeling the wheel as I came off the roundabout, and the same thing again. and embarrassment. I know, did me no favours on the cool front at university, although, you know.
Well,
it was a shed
that
anyway.
high up in
That's
a Spitfire, I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
A weird one from me was I was at a local pub, drinking days, you know, all that, and a female friend of ours had got a boyfriend with her, this new boyfriend, and she was she was bragging about how they got this fancy swish apartment and all this, and he'd got an M3. It was the I'm thinking maybe E40 or E46. It's the one where it first had the active diff on the back. Yeah. And
You've lost me now, but
and that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, take him out in the car." So we got in this car. There's 3 of us, I think, in this car, in the back. And he takes us out of town, and everything's kind of normal. And then he stops, and he's firking about with all the electronics.
Yeah.
And he proceeds to do, like, effectively like a sort of burnout, a peel out.
Yeah.
And then shit got mental after that. It was the most terrifying drive of my life.
Oh, right. He was just like, it was like the announcement
we went to get fuel, and this guy, like, he just was absolutely flying. And
on it.
And getting to get fuel was fine, because that was kind of straight roads and everything like that. Right up to Tesco Mere, fill it with petrol. We come back via the kind of A roads.
Yeah.
And it's wet. And he's throwing this car in, and it made you realise, like, how clever,
how active that diff is.
Well, yeah, it was back when the M3, like, had gone from being this kind of pure driver's going to upset M3 owners now. From this pure driver's car into, I think that was the E30, wasn't it? And the E36 comes out, and it's a computer game now.
Yeah,
and it's got
all a super saloon kind of thing, miniature super saloon.
It's that kind of dawn of stability control, and just how it can turn you into an absolute hero behind the wheel.
Yeah,
and this thing, I could not believe what we were getting away with.
Yeah.
And we got into town, and he's doing, I don't know, he must have been doing 70 to 100 miles an hour.
Jesus.
Down 30 mile an hour roads through the middle of town, and I'm just like, we're
gonna die,
or we're gonna kill somebody, or whatever.
Yeah.
He was driving it like he stole it, because he had stolen it, and we did not realise.
Really?
And we didn't know about this. Because, you know, this girl that we were speaking to, you know, she was kind of like, we were kind of like, well, how's he afford this? She's like, ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies. God. Which sounded really cool until they tried to go on holiday. And then as they're pulling onto the ferry, the police...
I'm afraid that M3's stolen, my son.
Ended up in jail. Wow. And, so absolutely...
Did he try that line on the police? Where'd you get this car from? Ask me no questions. Tell you no answers. Yeah, that's not quite how it works.
And it made you appreciate how the car was good. Yeah, the car was amazing. I have to admit.
And now maybe you wouldn't drive it like that if it was yours.
Yeah,
maybe.
Or if you hadn't perhaps shaken off a few cops in the past, maybe.
You were well versed in that sort of. That's
terrifying.
That is scary.
Thank God we didn't kill anybody. And a weird kind of segue on from that. Is a police chase I was involved in. I was the driver.
Nice segue. Just slip that in there.
A police chase I was involved in. I have the rare accolade of having been in a police chase where I'm the one chasing the police car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And,
the tables have turned.
It was a very strange thing. Out drinking.
Yeah.
Drinking days. I hadn't been drinking. Cavalier SRI 130. Look at my oval exhaust. Actually, I didn't.
That's not code though. Anyway,
and Magnex.
Nice.
And we were coming out of town, and we were going out of town to an out of town pub.
Yeah.
And good roads.
Yeah.
Good
roads.
So we're going on. I'm about 5 up in the car. Yeah. I'm driving along, and everyone's kind of a bit rowdy. And as we come out of town, we see a Rover 200 absolutely tailgating this other car as we get out of town, like right up its arse, right up there. And it's as we get closer, we realise it's a jam sandwich. You know, it's a
Panda car.
Yeah, Panda car, blue lights, everything like that. Back in the Rover 200 diesel.
Wow.
Times.
Oh wow, 200. He is going for it.
And it is welded up the back of this other car, and we're like bit strange. And of course, being lads and everything like that.
Has it got lights on and everything?
No, it was just right up the arse of this car. So we sort of drop it down. We come up behind. We're like, what's going on here, man? What's going on here? Because it's that weird thing, like when you're behind, you're kind of like all confident
and they're all sort of like they're slightly preoccupied with something else. You're like, I can get away with this. I can maybe.
So as we come up behind, this police car flicks on. No, it doesn't flick on the boots. It dives into the outside lane.
Oh my God!
Right toward an oncoming car, like at the worst possible moment. It dives into the outside lane. And you know how people do that when people overtake and they've miscalculated it and it's really close and they indicate back.
Yeah. Yeah.
He flicked on the blues.
Oh, nice. Just like get out of my way.
Apparently what you do when you're on the wrong side of the road, police car, you're driving like an absolute idiot.
Yeah.
Flicks on the blues and he goes for it and we're like...
Oh, right. So this is like doubling down. It's just like if I put my blue lights on...
The game is on.
That car will disappear on the other side of the road.
And we're just like, right then.
Yeah. So are we.
Because we're like, because in my head, because my head's like computing information really fast.
Like the Matrix,
This is a stolen police car. What's going on? Drunk driver. What is it?
Stolen police car. I like it. That's not very Occam's
mode.
That's not very Occam's razor. That
it's not, is it really? Pursuit mode engaged.
That's a police car with its lights on. It must be stolen.
Different times.
Different times. Pursuit mode engaged. Go on.
Pursuit mode engaged.
Go on.
We overtake safely, I may add, perfectly safely past this slow-moving car. And we basically start chasing this police car.
Yeah.
And to give you an idea of how hard this police car was cornering, round one of the tight turns, tight sweeping right, we could see him ahead and we could see the sparks shower off one side of the car as he ground the curb.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd like some initial D kind of thing, that isn't it? Don't use the gutter, just use the curb. Just rattle your way round.
Unbelievable.
Bloody hell.
It's a load of showers.
Yeah.
And we're just like, well, this has got crazy. Let's carry on.
Yeah.
And we end up chasing him down this road and he's overtaking and we're overtaking.
I think he was on the way to a shout or something.
Well, by the time we got into town, I backed off loads. I was like, well, I'm not driving, like, I'm not speeding, I'm not driving dangerously or anything like that. I wasn't before, but I'm definitely playing it cool.
As you go into town, that's it,
And we got into town and he was gone. And all we could see was the tyre marks out the junction. You could do it, it's a little bit damp. And you could see it out. And he was long gone.
Wow.
And at that point, we turned around and thought, we better get out of Dodge just in case.
Just something's going down that we don't know about. Wow.
To this day, one of the weirdest experiences I've had on the road.
Never has a 200D Rover, or 2 on whatever it'll be, 219D or whatever, been worked so hard, I imagine.
Unbelievable.
That sounds amazing.
And when it goes to show, like, if you're willing to drive, like...
Well, I think your last 2
you've
points,
stolen it, or it's a police car, and, you know, no one's going to catch you, really.
That's it. Fast car's the person behind the wheel, and what they'll do.
With street racing, is what effectively it is. It's always come down to who's most reckless in a lot of cases. Because a lot of street racing, it isn't organised, it isn't safe. Not in England anyway. It's not long straights with drag racing. It's just people just getting into random races. And really, it just comes down to whoever's the most reckless a lot of the time.
I remember sat in a pub. I think you might have been there, and hearing this guy regale how ace it was that he got a switch in his... He got a hot escort, I think, of some description. Switch to turn his rear brake lights off. So if he got into a bit of a race, he could turn the brake lights off, so that when he braked for a corner, they didn't see and they couldn't follow him. And you just think, like you say, that's like not cricket, is it really?
Well, I mean, we used to play that trick where if someone was tailgating you, like wanting to race, what we would do is switch rear fog on and accelerate at the same time.
Oh, that's
natural
clever.
reaction.
Yeah, you see the big red light.
They were all dirty. We're all dirty racing. All of it.
Like to reference Initial D again. Not like that in this country. Not by a long way.
Not by a long way. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Backfired
were a few fun stories. Got plenty more of them where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Especially when we haven't done any research into any past stuff.
Oh, good that
because we're so knackered.
Good that
so
way.
Knackered from the quality content we did last time.
And for what's about to come in, the present, which I think is this is a mammoth.
Wow.
Yeah. You better appreciate this, listeners and viewers.
Yeah.
Because this is some serious investigative journalism.
We've done work.
We've done
Actual
actual work. Let's have a brew, top these up, and then
Yeah.
we'll get into it.
We'll see you then.
Yeah.